Today we're going to do a recipe that I'm going to call Cherry Oaties. And to start with, we need to preheat our ovens to 175 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and gas mark 4, not gas mask, gas mark. Okay, now we have already pitted our cherries from this morning. Now if you don't know how to pit fresh cherries, and here's our fresh cherries. If you don't know how to pit fresh cherries, please see our video that we did earlier. I picked these this morning and we've pitted them, and now we're going to cook with them. And I'm just going to put them in here and let them strain for a while we do the rest of the ingredients, just so that we don't have all that extra moisture into our biscuits and make them soggy. We want them chewy and softish, but we don't want them too wet. There we go. What we want is the flesh of the cherries without all that extra juice. So we'll just push that down a wee bit. And we're going to let those sit while we mix up the rest of the ingredients. Right, I'll put those aside. Now, in a large bowl, we're going to mix up our dry ingredients first. Now to this bowl we're going to add 2.5 cups of rolled oats, 1¼ cups of flour, all-purpose flour, a cup of sugar. You can make that half sugar and let's try that again. You can make that half sugar and half brown sugar if you want, half a cup of each. And a pinch of salt. And we're just going to mix that up until all the rolled oats are mixed thoroughly through there. Now it doesn't really matter what you mix this with. You can use a fork, you can use a spatula, or you can just use a wooden spoon. Just make sure your bowl is big enough to be able to cope with all of it. And what we want is for the oats to be evenly distributed through our dry ingredients. Right, it's not looking too shabby. So we will put that aside for a minute and move on to our milk. Now in my cup here I have 2 tablespoons of milk, and to that I'm going to add half a teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm just going to give that a quick stir. And I'm just dissolving the baking soda into the milk so that it distributes evenly. To this we're going to add a tablespoon of vanilla essence or extract. If you've got extract, that's fine, but I've got essence, so I am using natural essence. But if you've got imitation essence, that's fine too. I'll just stir those in. And now to this we're going to crack our egg. The only reason that I add the egg to the milk is so that when these get mixed together, all the milk, the baking soda and the egg then gets distributed through the cookie dough without the egg just ending up in one place and the milk in the other. Right, we'll just mix that until the egg is totally combined with the milk. It does take a little while, I should have taken this egg. This egg came out of the fridge and it's not particularly wanting to combine with the milk. I should have taken that out a bit earlier and let it warm up. On the whole, if you're baking, using eggs at room temperature is much better for your baking. The egg whites seem to rise better and they puff better, they hold more air. Not that that's going to worry us today, because with our cherry oaties they're not going to really rise much. There we go. Now we're going to add this together with our 150 ml of either melted butter or oil to our dry ingredients. And here comes the oil. Now this is only 100 ml, so I need to add another 50. And I'm going to mix this through now until dough starts coming together. Yes, I am left-handed, but for everyone else, I'm sorry I forgot the camera was there, I will do it right-handed. And as you can see, it's starting to come together. We don't want this mixture too wet, but we do want it to be able to look like a cookie dough without it being crumbly. I'm just making sure all the flour is incorporated. Now if we were making muffins, we would have put the fruit in before we added the wet ingredients. But because we're making cookies, or as we call them in New Zealand, we call them biscuits, we put the fruit in last, because this time we want the fruit just to stay in one piece. We want it to be visible in our biscuit. We don't particularly want it to colour the dough very much. And it doesn't matter whether it's going to sink to the bottom or rise to the top, because these biscuits are only going to be about this high. So there's not much room where they can actually fall and sink. Right. So to this we're going to add half a cup of sultanas. Be decadent today, and I'm adding half a cup of chocolate chips. Now you could add half a cup of peanuts, but I'm allergic to peanuts, so I will not be putting peanuts in my baking. Other family members would love it if there were peanuts in this, and if I was baking for them I would, but as I will be eating some of these, I have left them out today and I've put the chocolate chips instead. So we've just got that in there a little, and now we're going to get our cherries. Here's our cherries. As they haven't dripped out much juice, but enough. If we put all of the juice from our cherries into our mixture, it would be too wet, and our cookies would run all over the baking sheet. So I'm just giving them a final little push down, very gentle little squish with the spatula before I add them to our mixture. Don't they look great? Right, put that out of the way, and this time I'm going to use the spatula and I'm going to fold those through until they are well combined and evenly distributed through the dough. I don't think anybody would appreciate getting a cookie or a biscuit without having a piece of cherry in there. You could cut these smaller. Left one in the cup. You could have cut these cherries in half and they would have gone further. I kind of like to have a decent mouthful of fruit, and so I've left them full. And as you can see, I'm just cutting them in at present. What we need is, instead of having the cherries around the edge of the bowl, they need to be totally through the mixture. The mixture's taking on quite a nice pinky colour. If you are using fresh cherries and you manage to get some of their juice on your apron or your clothes or your hands, wash it fairly soon after you've finished baking and the stain should come out. Cherries are fairly good, that they don't stain immediately, unlike blueberries or some of the other fruits. Cherry juice will usually wash out if it's seen to fairly promptly. I've been cooking with cherries for a few years now, and I, touch wood, I haven't had anything totally stain with them yet. Yeah, now it's starting to look like it should. This is just about ready to put onto the tray. It's smelling good. Now, when you put your biscuits onto the tray, we will call them cookies, just for the sake of it, that I only use one word. When you put your cookies onto the tray, today I'm going to use an ice cream scoop, but you can use a tablespoon and the spatula or another spoon and knock them off. It doesn't really matter. These are looking good. I'll just clean my spatula off. Oh, those cherries in there. These are going to taste so good. Right. I'll just get this slide. There we go. Now we have a lined baking tray. Now, the idea here is not to crowd the tray. These cookies need room to spread, and if you don't leave enough space, they will run together. My mouth is watering already and they're not even cooked yet. This should be enough to make 16 to 20 biscuits if they're making big ones, or around 36 smaller ones if you're only using a tablespoon. If you make them smaller than the size, you'll need to cook them for a shorter period of time and keep an eye on them so that they don't burn. These are going to be so good. Oops. Just pick that piece of cherry up, put it back in the bowl. My hands are clean. Actually, I might leave it at that. We'll do 9, and then I'll do a second tray with the rest of the recipe. So I'm going to pop these into the oven, and I'm going to cook them for between 12 and 14 minutes and see how they are. Sometimes they need more, sometimes they need less. Oops, and I forgot one extremely important thing. We need to just flatten these down a wee bit so that they cook evenly. You can use you can just wet the top of your fingers and use your fingers, but I find a spoon works just as well. Now don't worry if these get out of shape, these are oat biscuits. They're not meant to be totally round. If you want to use them and make them totally round, use your fingers and just reshape them. I hadn't had anybody complain about biscuits or cookies that have been a little misshapen. They're more worried about the taste. And these are going to taste great, I'm telling you now. Okay, these are the last one flattened. Right, I'm going to put these in the oven, so I'm going to pause the video here and we'll be back when I've got them out. See you soon. Welcome back. We're just going to transfer these. They have been sitting on the top of the stove for 10 minutes after they came out of the oven. They cooked for 15 minutes and I let them cool for 10 minutes, and we're just transferring these. They have crisped up nicely. The base is crispy but the top is quite nice and soft, and there we go. Just move the tray out of the way. And they taste better than they look, a lot better than they look. So what we can do is just add a little icing sugar to the top of these, and if you were going out or taking a plate, they will look great. My apologies, I left the icing sugar on the bench. So we'll just tap a couple over the top here. Now you don't need to do that, they taste great just as they are. They don't really need any embellishment, but if you feel that you need to, I'll just bring the plate down here, and I've got some here that I have put a glace icing on with just a little bit of coconut, and there they are with the icing sugar on, and doesn't that look great? I'm sure anybody would really enjoy eating those. So, if you try the recipe, please let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to follow us and catch our next video, please subscribe. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you in the next one. Bye.